Hey there, this is Matt with State of Flux, here with a review for Guillermo del Toro's Frankenstein. This was a movie I was really excited for because Guillermo del Toro is a fantastic visual artist, and Frankenstein is one of my all-time favorite books. This is something I talked about around Halloween time in a video that you can watch around here, where I looked back at all the 30s and 40s Universal monster movies. But Frankenstein is one that I absolutely adore, and it's one that hasn't been adapted correctly. I think the closest we've ever got in adaptation is Mary Shelley's Frankenstein by Kenneth Branagh back in '95 or so, and well, that film is pretty close to the source material. It veers off course in the final act. So I was really hoping that Guillermo del Toro, who has spoken with reverence of Frankenstein and Mary Shelley's work in the past, might be able to give me that perfect embodiment of Frankenstein that I so desperately wanted. Unfortunately, this isn't that movie, but the good news for you is this is one of the year's best films, and one that I really hope is not forgotten around Oscar time, because it is extraordinarily good. Even though it isn't the adaptation I wanted it to be, I want to speak to the positives of the movie itself. It is insanely well directed. The art direction in this film, the sets, the makeup, the artistry involved is extraordinary. So incredibly good. But you'd come to expect that from Guillermo del Toro. What really blew me away are the performances, particularly that of Jacob Elordi, who is an actor that I've liked but had never loved. This movie has given me reason to love him. He is great as the monster. Oscar Isaac is really good in this incarnation of Frankenstein, whose abuse towards the monster is a little more on the nose. He's more physically and verbally abusive than he is in the book. I think the thing I like about Frankenstein in the book is his cold indifference. And we'll circle back to that. I have more to say on that in just a minute. But Oscar Isaac is really good. Mia Goth is fantastic in her small role, but she really makes it sing when needed. Charles Dance is really great early on in the film. Christoph Waltz. Oh, the performances across the board are fantastic, and I really hope the Academy remembers them at year's end when it comes to in the coming month when it comes time for the nomination period. Like I said, though, this film also has a surprise Paige Michalchuk. Both Argus Filch, why can't I remember that actor's name? He's really good in the movie as the blind man, who's one of my favorite sections of the book. And Lauren Collins, who played Paige Michalchuk in Degrassi: The Next Generation, had a small little cameo, extended cameo as his daughter in this. And I geeked the F out. Everybody was asleep in the house, and I had to giddily wait until they woke up to harangue my wife and be like, Paige Michalchuk is in this movie, oh my gosh, and I geeked out. Anyway, so Lauren Collins out there, you're a rock star. You should be in more things. That being said, the things I didn't necessarily love about this is that Frankenstein being one of my favorite pieces of literature, there are a couple of key moments of that book that I think are some of my favorite moments in literary history. And all three of those moments are represented in this film, but this film almost decides as if it's a problem needing fixing and subverts those scenes. One of which is the birth of the monster. In the book, it comes off as Frankenstein's ambition and blind passion to try and make something alive again is what's fueling him. And the moment that the creature is created, he sets eyes on it and is horrified and flees from it. It feels like an intellectual crime of passion. That's how I've described it in the past. And it's one of my favorite things to explore for the character of both Frankenstein and the creature. The first thing the creature sees is horror. The thing that his creator does is flee in horror. It's a great moment. And this film takes that and does something that I just did not like whatsoever. As I said, the callousness, the cold indifference of Frankenstein as the creator in the book is not represented here. It's in place of that is more obvious, on the nose, and less intellectually stimulating visual and verbal abuse, and that or physical and verbal abuse, and that didn't really play as well as I would have liked. I guess it's the creative shorthand to sell the idea. It just didn't really work for me. But there's a couple of other moments. There's a significant moment that happens in the end of the book that's represented here, again subverted, with the character of Elizabeth, that I just straight up hated. It works for what this movie is going for, but it is at the antithesis of the point of the book. I like the relationship of Frankenstein and the creature in the book far more than I like their relationship here. Both because in this film, they're both painted too sympathetic. Painting the creature sympathetic or the monster sympathetic is not anything that's unusual. That's kind of always been the case when retelling Frankenstein. We monsterify him visually, but then we tell a story that makes you sympathize with him most of the time. And it's put to great use here, and I think it works. It's just, it works against the book and what I wanted from this adaptation. On top of that, I think that his relationship with Frankenstein is also far more interesting and complex, where he's like, you brought me into this cruel world, and I'm going to keep you in this cruel world, but any ounce of happiness that you will have, I am going to sap from you, as you have done for me, until you make me a bride. That's the kind of creature's motivation in the book, and it's genuinely fascinating, the lengths that these two characters will go to try to constantly exist in this motion. And in the film, the characters are a little too on the nose, but then Frankenstein himself is painted with a little too much sympathy at times. If you're going to make him the monster, have him be the monster. There's no need to paint him with a sympathetic lens, because it's just kind of unnecessary, and also every other version of this story has done the same thing. Right down to the one from the 1930s. So still, at the end of the day, I think the closest adaptation we've gotten is that Kenneth Branagh version, which is one that I should revisit. I don't remember liking it particularly well, mostly because they miscast Robert De Niro as the monster. But it is the closest to what I want for a Frankenstein adaptation. But what this film has to offer beyond its book, because let's face it, at this point, I'm used to being let down by the fact that I don't have the adaptation I want. What this film does have to offer is a really interesting look at hope in the face of hopelessness. And it's quite lovely, and its final moments, again, differ from my favorite final moments of the book, but they work beautifully here, and the score soars, and the visual of that final shot is powerful and potent, and this film offers that. So it's a mixed bag for me, a mixed bag in the sense that what I'm bringing to this movie and to this franchise, this baggage this film is disinterested with. But what this film has to offer is beyond what I was expecting or hoping for, and I'm still able to say that this is one of the best movies of the year. even though it rubs me the wrong way in a lot of ways. So there you have it. Let me know what you thought of Frankenstein in the commentary down below. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, and do all that good stuff. Peace.